Welcome to the Bear Talk, your go-to Chicago Bears podcast, where a father and son break down all things Bears. From Soldier Field to Sunday showdowns, I'm your host here, Dylan Weaver, and as always, joined here by my dad. How you doing, Dad?
Doing great, Dill. How you doing today? Today is the day that dome stadiums become a factor because I don't care how much I love football. There's no way you could pay me to play in feels like temperature of a negative 20. Kevin Warren, please get this deal done because until then, I don't think there's a winter football game in my future because that is freezing.
Yeah, it is definitely going to be a cold one. I saw tweets from this morning of the Fox crew that's out there on the game day, and they're saying right now it feels like negative 14. So hopefully as the day goes on, game starts, it'll still be cold, but hopefully less cold because
I was going to say, you can't even say I hope it warms up because
yeah.
negative 14 to negative 2 is still cold.
Yeah, but it definitely makes a difference for sure, but it will be interesting for sure. And I mean, it definitely suits to the Bears, the Bears' favorite of pound the ball, pound the rock, um, especially against this Cleveland defense. They are a little up and down. It feels like, I will say, their defense performs statistically better at home than on the road, which is a good thing for the Bears. But yeah, playing in this weather is no joke. Shout out to the fans that bought a ticket to this game to go watch this, because I'll be honest, I don't care if this was a Super Bowl. I don't know if I'm buying a ticket to sit in that crap, because that is insanity.
Can you imagine, like, I know when we lived in Chicago and we'd go outside in the wintertime and your gloves would be off for a few minutes and you would just like hit your hand, the pain you would feel because of the cold. Now imagine you're, DeAndre Swift or Kyle Monangai or heck, that offensive line or defensive line, and you're just ramming into 300-pound, beasts out there on the field. I can't even. It's painful enough to get hit in football, but now you factor in the cold. Now people will say, "Oh, you're numb. You won't feel it." Baloney. You will feel that.
Yeah. Just imagine the guy that's going to be having to try to tackle Kyle Monangai running at you like that. I mean, that is not a fun task, especially the way he runs. And he's going to want to run like that, even more how cold it is to try to stay warm. And then you got to deal with him lowering his pads and running you over. So
yeah, wasn't it last week's game or the game before when it was cold and they hit helmet to helmet? And
it was last week.
Yeah.
Man, guy ran straight at their biggest guy, their middle linebacker, Adrian Cooper, and literally broke his helmet and ran him over. But, props to Cooper as well, though, because Cooper's the one that got up and made the tackle. So it was just some hard-hitting NFC North football. But today,
helmets may crack in half today.
I can't imagine trying to tackle Kyle Monangai in this weather. I mean, he's going to run you over, and then on top of it, you got to deal with just the cold, and like you were just talking about, every little hit to your body hurts. And the receivers just thinking about catching a football in this weather. I mean, oh God.
And I think we talked about that last week too in the post game about timing routes, right? And the coldness and throws off the timing of the route because your body's not warm, you're not running, like you would in at least decent temperatures. You throw that in today's game, I don't throw the ball, I don't think. I mean, and if you're going, like, let's say you're Cole Kmet or Colston Loveland and they're doing like an end and you're going over the middle and you catch the ball and get hit from behind.
Yeah.
It's going to be brutal.
It will definitely be brutal. It'll also affect the kicking game as well, with the winds and then obviously the cold weather, the kickers trying to hit these balls that are going to feel like you're kicking a concrete. So
Correct.
It's going to be interesting. And like I said, I've said it many times this year, just get everyone playing inside. You're going to get the best product of football from both teams, and you don't have to worry about games like this. But at the same time, this is NFC North football. This is, what the Bears are used to. But, I mean, this kind of weather is insane, honestly. So we'll see who it affects in the game. The The Bears' only problem in cold weather games this year, I would say, are the drops by the receivers. When it gets really cold, we've seen it plenty of times. The receivers, Caleb does heave that ball at them, and in this kind of weather, it is harder to catch it. But at the same time, you are an NFL player, catch the football. And it does go, a lot of people don't know too, but it is cold, but that technology they have on both sidelines with all those heaters and stuff, people don't know about. That stuff does keep you warm.
Don't even give me it's a dry heat kind of thing like you're in Arizona. Oh, it's just a dry heat. Baloney. It's cold.
The Chicago cold is bad. I agree. I'm just saying
to the bone.
I'm just saying though, all those they have things where you stick your feet in there on those sidelines that heat up your feet. All the benches are like 120 degrees to keep you warm. They got hand warmers where you stick your hands in them. Like they have every little bit of technology, but still you do gotta, at least when you get off of those, you have to go embrace the weather.
Yeah, and on top of that, you're talking about all the technology that the players have and the coaches have and the staff has on the sideline. What's the over-under, Mr. Betman, on the fans, a frostbite from either their feet or their toes? Because there's none of that technology. Unless you're in the box or the Cadillac Club running into the inside. Is it even called the Cadillac Club anymore? That's how old I am. It used to be the Cadillac Club. I don't know what it is anymore. But if you're just sitting in the regular part of the stands, I mean, it's going to be ridiculous. And I remember it was an NFC playoff game. We played the Seahawks one year, and it was awesome. I think it was during the Super Bowl run. My brother and I, we went to a game. We stood up in the Miller Lite party deck. I dressed appropriately. He didn't. He went and hid in the bathroom for most of the game. Hence why I think he's a Detroit Lions fan now. But that cold gets brutal down there on the lake. I mean, lake or no lake, -14, it's cold.
Yeah. And I was going to say too, just regarding, forget what I was about to say. I was going to say something lastly about the weather before we got into, when you were talking about a fan getting frostbite, I'm sure we'll see on the broadcast some idiot with his shirt off, with his body painted. Like, you're going to see a couple of those guys out there. And then when they get home tonight and their skin's purple and blue and black and they're like, what's wrong? Yeah, they'll be going to the hospital because there will be some idiot out there. There will be. There will be someone out there that will get shown on the broadcast with his shirt off in this type of weather. Lastly, about the weather too, the coldest I've ever played in, we played my freshman year of college. We were up in Michigan for spring break. Not the best place to be going to play spring break, but we played 3 games up there. Luckily, 2 of the teams made accommodations. We found a dome to play in, an indoor stadium. However, the last team up in Indiana, we played, they didn't have an option. And we played outside, and it was like 20 degrees, full snow, winds going everywhere. And I remember our coach, we have team sweatpants that are all matching. He said, nope, no sweatpants, shorts and your tights. That's all you got. And I just remember I didn't even care about playing. I just said, get me out of here. And then when the other thing you don't realize in this cold is the whole time you're just thinking in your head, when is this over? And it just feels like an eternity. Like it feels like it's never ending. And like you said, every time you get whacked with a stick, you get a ball shot at you. It just felt 10 times worse because of how cold it was. But, hopefully these players, they're it seems like when you watch it though, they're used to it. Like it seems like it's unfazed. Like you see people out there in short sleeves, which is insanity to me, but it definitely is cold. But let's hop into it. Let's hop into the injury report as we always do on our pregame shows. We'll start with the Bears. Finally, a pretty normal looking injury report for the Bears for, it looks like, about back-to-back weeks. Obviously, last week we had Rome Odunze out. But other than that, it was a pretty healthy injury report. Kyler Gordon, earlier yesterday, headed back to IR. The plan is to get him ready for the playoffs if the Bears make it. But honestly, I don't have my hopes up because anytime he comes back, it's for about a half a game and then he's hurt again. So
Yeah.
we'll just leave that at that. We'll talk about that later if it ever comes into factor in the playoffs, if he is going to suit back up. But for now, he is headed to IR. The only other player out for the game for the Bears is Travis Homer, the special teamer, also like the fourth string running back, but he is dealing with an ankle injury. He will not be playing. Tyson Bagent got added to the injury report literally 30 minutes ago. Got a sickness, nothing body-wise, like he didn't break or doesn't have a pulled muscle. He's apparently really sick with an illness, so he's not going to be playing. And then Rome Odunze, he's questionable, but tweets came out yesterday from Adam Schefter, Jeremy Fowler from ESPN that Rome is expected to play and going to be good to go. So that is good signs. We will see Tyreek Stevenson back this week, so will be kind of interesting to see with Jalen Johnson still working up his snap count. Probably we'll see a little bit of Tyreek and Jalen Johnson split some time in there. Lamade Zaccheaus was on the injury report this week with a hamstring injury, but he was limited participant Wednesday and Thursday and then good to go Friday. But that pretty much does it for the Bears side of things. Now let's head over to the Cleveland Browns, who their injury report looks like the Bears has all year. A laundry list of people. We'll start with some of the important people. Jack Conklin, their offensive tackle, he is out with a concussion. Mason Graham, questionable. Their first round pick, their defensive tackle, who has been playing really good with Myles Garrett, obviously being the sack leader in the NFL. Mason Graham's had a really good rookie season. He's questionable, didn't practice all week and had a limited practice Friday. We'll see if he goes. Denzel Ward, one of their best cornerbacks, probably a top cornerback in the league as well, definitely a top 10 cornerback. He is out with a calf injury. Zach Zinter, their guard, doesn't look like he's going to play either. Didn't practice all week, and he has a questionable game decision. Don't think he's going to play. Cedric Tillman, one of their wide receivers, questionable for the game. Malachi Corley, another receiver for the Browns, questionable. And then their other guard, Joel Bettino, he's dealing with a knee and back injury. Didn't practice all week either and is a questionable. So the Browns are going to be down a lot of their offensive linemen in this game. But just off the initial injury report, maybe we can just talk about the Bears. You got any thoughts? I know it is a pretty small injury report, but with the Bears need this because we've been dealing with what we just read for the Browns all year.
Here's my only thought for this game on the injury report, and I'm glad it's only a couple players on there. I just hope we get out of this game with no more injuries. And we were talking a little bit about the receivers, right, and timing, and you lose a step in weather such as this. I just hope that Caleb's elusive ability maintains, because Myles Garrett, let's don't forget, right? He's on a 20 sack run here. He's looking to break the NFL record. And quite honestly, with as many games they have left, he most
should
likely
easily beat it.
Yeah, he should beat it. But I hope this isn't a game where the offensive line that's done a phenomenal year all year long protecting Caleb because of the weather conditions, gives up, a full bull rush from Myles Garrett onto Caleb Williams, and it ends unfavorably is all I'm going to say. That's my biggest fear about this injury report. Let's get out of here with just the two we have, maybe some bruises or contusions if you want to make it a big fancy word. I just hope our key players do not sustain a serious injury just due to the weather they're playing in.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously with Tyson Bagent on that injury report, like you're kind of hinting at, I don't want to speak it into existence, but if for whatever reason Caleb does go down, it's more likely going to be Case Keenum coming in, which he is a veteran. It isn't that worrisome, but at the same time, Case can't even do what Tyson Bagent does arm talent wise. So it's obviously, and like you said, it's just take care of business, protect the football, and and get out of here healthy, ready to go for Green Bay, because
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about Green Bay on this show, but Green Bay has a couple of big players that are banged up that they're letting play this week. And we don't root for injuries over here, but there could be a good chance one of those guys get hurt back-to-back weeks. Now, Josh Jacobs was out all week and then playing with a knee injury. And Bears game last week, he did it, and he's doing it again today. And stuff like that is where you push the limits a couple too many times, and there goes an ACL because you're overcompensating with other parts in your leg. So I agree. At this point, we're at the healthiest we've been back-to-back weeks. Let's just take care of our football team, play a clean football game. And obviously injuries can happen. It's not the player's fault, but, well, maybe outside of Kyler Gordon, but just, play a clean football game, stay healthy. And that's what the Bears need to do here down the stretch, because Tremaine Edmonds, by the way, is coming back next week too. This is his last week of IR. We'll see if he is good to go for practice next week, but he should be. It's been 4 weeks now with him sitting on IR after this week, which having Tremaine back, then you got TJ Edwards back. It will be massive for that Packers rematch. But let's focus on this game. Let's start with this Bears offense and some keys. I just want to start personally with run the ball. Tony Pollard is coming off, and by the way, I just said Tony Pollard and the Tennessee Titans. Tony Pollard is coming off 170 rushing yards against this Browns defense, who has been what they call lights out, top defense in the league. So the key to the game is Kyle Monangai, DeAndre Swift, like they've been doing since the bye week, pound the football. And off of that, you can sprinkle in your play action like Ben Johnson does. But I'm going to be serious. I don't want to see Caleb over 20 passing attempts in this game. Run the ball, take care of business, do your thing. Obviously, if the run game isn't working and you're not getting those chunk plays, then yes, you can open up to the passing game. But with the way Tony Pollard is running on this Cleveland defense, you should be able to see DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai be successful, especially with the offensive line up front. And then my other key would be like what you said. Make sure you're doubling and tripling Myles Garrett, tight ends, wide receivers, chipping him off the line. If there is passing plays, I'm sure Caleb Williams, he has that third eye in the back of his head where he knows when people are coming. So I'm sure that will be all right. But like you said, you can't let him get a clean, just full-on blind side on Caleb Williams. So Ozzie Trapillo is going to have another tall task this week. He blocked Micah Parsons a couple times last week. Now you got another freak running at you. It's just kind of the way the NFL works. Most teams have some freak pass rusher, except the Bears. But everyone else has got a freak. I mean, we've played the Max Crosbys this year, the Micah Parsons, the Brian Burns, the Abdul Carters, the Myles Garretts, the TJ Watts. Like, they're on every team, and there's always going to be a tall task. But this will definitely be Trapillo's tallest task of his young rookie career. So I just think they need to make sure they have eyes on Myles Garrett, and I'm sure they will, but there can't be any missed assignments when it comes to blocking him.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. That, like I said earlier, that's just my biggest fear is, Caleb, whatever anyone wants to say about him, he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks of all time, if, not only for the Bears, but I think in the NFL as I continue to watch him. It's kind of funny watching the Heisman last night. And, I totally forgot Caleb was a Heisman Trophy winner. And, typically the track record of Heisman Trophy winners in the NFL isn't that good. You have 2 kisses of death: the Heisman Trophy winner or being on the cover of Madden. And Caleb's proven that wrong. So hopefully they don't put him on the cover of Madden anytime soon. But let's get him out of there clean and healthy, and not get him in harm's way. So that's my big focus for this game.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting too. I still do think they're gonna pass the ball early and get their lead, and then run them out. It was interesting this week. There's a lot of talk with Ben Johnson, the press conference, people asking him questions how to get Caleb on a faster start, because for about the past month now, he starts off pretty slow But then come the second half, he's balling out, and they're trying to find a rhythm of getting him, up to speed and being consistent in that first quarter. So it'll be interesting to see this week what the Bears do to maybe help him get on a more consistent page early and often in the game, because it was weird. The start of the season, it was the scripted plays he was amazing at. Like, if you remember the opening drive of the season, he drove them 80 yards down the field, then ran in the touchdown the Vikings. And then for a little bit there in the beginning too, that's how it was. And then the second half, the second and third quarter is where he would start not being as consistent. And now it's the complete opposite. So it's kind of been the theme of this season. It's been really weird. It's like one side is good and then the other side is bad. It's just been a lot. If this Bears team can just find a little bit of consistency down the stretch here, they could be in for a special season. Especially if, like I said, if they can just clean it up just a little bit, both offensively and defensively, with just getting everyone back. If they can just improve another 10 to 15% and be a little bit more consistent, this football team, the sky's the limit for them. So it'll be interesting to see how they get Caleb Williams on track this week, especially with this Cleveland defense. They like to they get after you fast, but a lot of the short screen stuff can go for long plays on them. So we'll see what happens. But other than that, for the offense, I think the main key is obviously Caleb, take care of the football, avoid Myles Garrett as much as possible, be smart, and then on top of that, just pound the ball on them. See what you can do. They got a good defense, but last week giving up 170 rushing yards to a running back that is not even a top-end running back this year, definitely should be able to have running success, especially that's the Titans O-line you're talking about. This Bears O-line has been bread and butter in the run game, so we need to see that this week. Just play some typical NFC North football, pound the rock back in your day when you used to watch. It's just handoff, pound, and then a pass play in there, here and there. But let's talk about this Cleveland Browns offense and this Bears defense. Like I said in this injury report, with 3 offensive linemen not playing in this game, there better be pass rush getting home in this game. I don't care. Last week was inexcusable. If I don't see at least 3 sacks today, I'm not even kidding. If there is not 3 sacks today, it is inexcusable. Shedeur Sanders is coming off his best performance so far in his 3 starts. He had 350 yards last week, 3 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown. Ultimately fell short 29-31, but it definitely was not Shedeur Sanders' fault. It's been interesting. His first 2 starts kind of looked like, oh, that's why he wasn't playing. And then this last game, it was, okay, he can play football. He can do – it was kind of like Caleb. A lot of people doubted what Caleb did in college could translate to the NFL. Same kind of story with Shedeur Sanders. And he showed last week that he can do that stuff. He can do what he got away with in college. So it'll be interesting, but we need to get pressure on Shedeur because he is like Caleb. He likes to escape and extend plays. The difference is Shedeur's a lot slower and he's a lot easier to bring down when you get a hold of him. So the pass rush needs to get home. And I will say too, his numbers, Shedeur's numbers against man are really good. His numbers against zone is really terrible. So I know Dennis Allen does like to run a lot of that man defense, but this is not the week to do it. Do not take him lightly. Put him in zones. Make him actually diagnose what's happening. And if you're getting a pass rush home, you're probably going to get 2 or 3 interceptions in this game. I think he's already up to 4 or 5. Shedeur Sanders is. He'll loft you some footballs, throw the ball into harm's way if you're getting to him. But if he has a clean pocket and you are in man coverage, he's usually pretty good at deciphering where the ball needs to go. So, and then obviously too, the other running back that people aren't talking about either that I think is having an insane rookie season is Quinshon Judkins. He is the heart and soul of this offense. Honestly, this whole offense is full of a bunch of rookies. They have that other rookie tight end, Harold Fannin Jr. He's having a really good year. He's second in receiving yards for all rookies this year. So it's going to be interesting, but Obviously, first get the pass rush home and then stop the run with Quinshad Junkins, force Shedeur Sanders into passing downs, especially in this weather for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think something we don't take lightly is Shedeur still wanting to prove that he belongs in the league. And this could be a game where if he could make a statement, he solidifies his right to be in the league. And not saying he doesn't have a right to be in the league. He's a great football player, but you just see how that goes. And the Browns are trying to play for a draft position, based on what Stefanski did last week with pulling Shedeur out. I hope Stefanski sticks to that. Although I think it's going to be a low-scoring game just based on the weather. Shedeur makes me a little nervous because he is he wants to win. I think he's going to try to do whatever he can to try to win, whether that's with his legs or with his arm. But hopefully our Bears defense can, take advantage of maybe some lame duck balls in the air, and maybe that's where the points come from today. Maybe it's not offensive touchdowns. Maybe it's a defensive scoring touchdown game that pulls it out. So we'll see. He does have me worried, though.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I do. It's pretty obvious. I can see. At first, I didn't understand why a lot of people, especially national media, were getting mad that Shedeur wasn't playing. It's pretty obvious. The Cleveland Browns took Dillon Gabriel in like the 3rd round. They took Shedeur in the 5th round. Obviously, they're going to test out Dillon Gabriel first. But after seeing Shedeur play, even in the games where he didn't play bad, he at least has the threat of throwing the ball down the field, where Dillon Gabriel was all, I'm going to dink and dunk down the whole field, and it never worked. So I understand now their frustration. But I agree. Shedeur does scare me. He's playing with nothing to lose. I mean, he is playing with stuff to lose because if he doesn't perform, the Cleveland Browns might just draft another quarterback, and Shedeur might be back to square one next year if he doesn't prove that he's the guy going forward. And I still think he's going to have an NFL career. He might get trapped on the Browns for a little bit of just sitting there and still developing and learning, but maybe not being the starting quarterback. But last week was definitely a step in the right direction for him. And these last 3 games, or 3 of the last 4 games the Browns have, are all against predicted playoff teams. So these next 3 weeks for him are big, and he's going to come ready to play. He ain't going to bow down his head and just collapse. He's going to do everything he can to go win the football game, no matter what Kevin Stefanski and the general manager want. He will do everything in his power to go win. And it's honestly, this is something I want to talk about too, because listening to some of the Cleveland media this week and just the way of how Shedeur is perceived nationally, it reminds me a lot of Caleb Williams. Everything is under a microscope. Everything he does, it doesn't matter. It gets twisted into a negative thing. I will say this year for Caleb, it's gotten a lot better because he's backed a lot of it up. But as far as Caleb's rookie year and Shedeur's rookie year goes, it's kind of similar with the media. They just always find a way to knock him down, and the pre-draft stuff of assuming who he is as a person. Same thing was with Caleb. And I'm honestly listening to some of Shedeur's interviews that I've seen, on First Take in the morning, FS1, the Pat McAfee show. Shedeur sounds like a really intelligent, down-to-earth human in these press conferences. Very mature for a 22-year-old, very mature, answering questions the right way. So I feel, Shedeur Sanders fans out there's pain, and especially Shedeur's pain of just being treated unfairly, and everything is under a microscope for you. And I get it comes with the name as well, the Sanders name, and kind of like Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams was everything to talk about in college football, and they wanted to believe a lot of things that weren't necessarily true, and just mostly narratives going around that weren't really reflecting who those people are. So I feel Shedeur's pain and his fans out there, and I'm glad he's finally just getting a shot to shine. Just maybe you got to wait one more week to shine a little bit. Let the Bears take care of business, and then we can worry about Green Bay, because if the Bears lose this game, it will all the positive stuff that has happened, it could flip real fast.
It'll be bad if we lose this game. I know we're 9-4, but it could be the downward spiral that happens if we lose against the Browns.
Yeah, and this is like a game where I wish like we were playing the Dylan Gabriel, because it's like this defense, if they get going, this Cleveland defense, they are good. But like I said, they're really good at home, and at away, it's literally a complete different story. It really is. So hopefully it continues that trend. But the scary thing is, like you said, his teammates have talked about it. They're wanting to play for Shedeur. They're wanting to go win a game for him. And then on the defensive side, the defense has got something to play for, because they're trying to get Myles Garrett to that sack record. So they got, as much as they only are a 3-win team, this team has a lot of stuff to play for that most 3-12 teams really don't have to play for. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, but the Bears should take care of business if they're not messing around. And I think with Ben Johnson, we've seen it clear as day. He don't take anybody lightly. And you heard in his press conference this week, we desperately need this win. Every win we desperately need to lock in our spot. He keeps calling it the dance, which I like. Everyone usually calls it the playoffs, but Ben Johnson's been calling it the dance. We need a ticket to the dance. So we just need to win this game, and I think he's going to have them ready to go, have them prepared. And especially with those 3 offensive linemen, those exotic blitzes Dennis Allen likes, I think a lot of them should get home today. And like I said, it should be a 3-sack minimum day easily.
Montez Sweat severely needs a 3-sack game.
Yeah, it would help him. I mean, he's at 8.5 on the season, but I think he'll get another one in this game, and I can see another C.J. Gardner-Johnson getting a sack on one of those nickel blitzes, maybe a Jaquan Brisker in there. But there definitely should be some sacks in this game, and a couple, at least one interception, if not 2, I think. I think the defense is going to have a good day today, but for our fantasy-wise, we need Rome Odunze and DeAndre Swift to have a day today, because we had Kyle Pitts on our bench, and he put up 40 points. Pain. But, everyone's over here. Our starting tight end is Brock Bowers, by the way, so you're not going to start Kyle Pitts over Brock Bowers. But we need our Bears players on our team to shine today. It'll be interesting, but I think Swift can have a good day. It'll just be, if they do get some passing yards, hopefully they're mostly to Rome Odunze for our fantasy sake. But
hopefully. Maybe his dad could do a tweet before the game.
Yeah. Usually when his dad starts talking negatively about the Bears and him, he starts going off. So maybe we need one of those. And let's hope Rome gets out of this game healthy. He's going to be dealing with that stress fracture the rest of the season until the offseason. He'll probably get some light surgery on his foot, but he's going to have to deal with it as the season goes on. But hopefully he's all right, because we'll need him next week. We definitely missed him last week when we played the Packers. I didn't think it would be that important, but you could tell that he was missed for sure. So let's hop into our pregame predictions, our MVPs. I'll let you kick it off first. Why don't you kick it off?
I'm kicking it off with the O-line as my MVP, because they're going to hold Myles Garrett to 0 sacks. That is my prediction. And my defensive player, Tyreek Stevenson, I'm bringing him back in because he's back in the lineup and he's hungry for some action.
All right. And your score prediction?
It's low. This weather is going to play a factor. Like 13-7, Bears win.
That low?
That low. It's going to be as low as the temperature.
No. I will say offensively, I'm going to give it to Kyle Monangai. I think he has a multi-touchdown day today. I think the ground game, I agree with your offensive line MVP. If they're running the ball good, they definitely deserve an MVP. But I think Kyle Monangai is going to be mine. I think he's going to have multiple touchdowns, especially against this Browns defense. When we do get in the goal line stuff, they should have Monangai in there because this defense can tackle. And if DeAndre Swift isn't the best at, running people over, but I think Kyle Monangai is going to have a good day today. I got 2 touchdowns for him. For my defensive MVP, I'm going to go with Kevin Byard this week. I think he's going to get another pick in this game. I think Shedder's going to throw a couple up late. I would say early in the game, I think he's going to be smart, but the Bears are going to get a lead where they're going to have to pass. And I think that's where Kevin Byard's going to come up with another interception in this game. So I'm going to go with Kevin Byard, and I'm going to go 24-13 Bears. That's going to be my score prediction. Even though it's cold, this Bears run game, they've proved they can run over people and still put up a decent amount of points in the running game. So I actually got the Bears winning 24-13. I can see them getting out to a lead early and then just using that clock to their advantage in their run game, and then setting play action off of that. So that's going to be my predictions for the game. We'll see what happens. At the end of the day, I don't care what the score is. The Bears just need to win this game and get on to the rematch against Green Bay, which will be another big game next week where my heart won't be able to take it. But real quick, too, before we get out here, let's just, as Bears fans out there, make sure you're rooting for the Rams today as they take on the Lions. We do not need the Lions getting close to us. Let's have them lose 2 games before they play us, and then that way that Week 18 game really won't mean anything. I do not want Week 18 to be win and you're in between the Lions and the Bears. I won't even watch the game. But let's everyone cheer on the Rams today as they host the Detroit Lions. And honestly, I don't care if the Packers lose, because even if the Packers win next week, if the Bears win it, they'll be in first place. It doesn't matter. It will be the same stakes no matter what if the Packers win or lose, as long as the Bears win this game. So we will see what happens. I don't know if you got anything else you want to throw. I think it's pretty easy game plan. Just take care of the football and play your Bears football, and this game should be fine. But you never know. You never know what could happen.
Just glad I'm not watching this game outside.
Oh, yeah. No, I do not. I don't even, like I said, if this is a playoff game, I don't even know if I even want to sit there for that in this kind of weather. It's
not happening.
It's insanity. But I think that'll do it for this episode. We'll have our post-game show up pretty quickly after the game. But as always, like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell notifications on to stay notified. As always, too, down in the description, all of our social media is down there below. Make sure to give us a follow if you want to stay up to date with us on social media. But I think that'll do it for this episode. But until then, bear down.